Hey, welcome to Man Kitchen Recipes. I am Kevin, and today I'm doing a brisket burnt in sloppy joe. Look at that. I mean, come on. Does that look good or what? All right, let me show you how exactly I go about making this sloppy joe. And this is a piece of a brisket, so this is going to go in my playlist, the one that I did of slicing up a brisket, because I'm continuing to do that off the playlist, but this one is going on the playlist. All right, this is a brisket sloppy joe, basically made with brisket burnt ends. All right, let me show you how I did it. We'll come back and we'll take a taste. Alrighty, for this brisket sloppy joe, burnt in sloppy joe, you know, I did that whole series on the brisket, cutting up a brisket into chunks, and man, I really like it because, you know, you can use brisket for multiple meals. So this piece of brisket, this is part up towards the point, mostly point meat. I'm going to make burnt ends out of it, but first thing we got to do is get it smoked up. So since we're going to do sloppy joe, I might use part of this for something else, because I'd really like to have some green chili brisket. And anyway, so I'm just going to use some Killer Hogs brisket rub, Texas brisket rub. Doesn't really matter, because once we put it in the sloppy joe sauce, this rub isn't going to mean a whole lot. However, you do want to get a good bark on it for the burnt ends. Okay, I'm going to let this sit. Yeah, I'm putting a nice coat on here. I'm going to let this sit for about 20 minutes while the Lone Star Grillz pellet grill heats up. Okay, there we go. Just waiting for the smoker. Here we are out at the Lone Star Grillz pellet grill. Now I'm going to be doing something today I don't think I've ever done. I've got to run, so while this is heating up, it's just about 200 degrees. I'm smoking at 235 today. I'm going to go ahead and get my brisket point on here because it's going to take a little while, and I'm going to use the probe with the Lone Star Grillz because it's Wi-Fi, so I can check it. Keep an eye on that probe, the temperature. I've only got to run for about an hour, but I need to get this started. So there we go. I'm putting it on the bottom shelf, 235 degrees. I'll see you in a little bit. 5.5 hours. Look at that. I am going to pull this out and see if we can't get this wrapped up. Okay, I'm going to wrap this in some butcher paper. Let's see if I can do it right here on the grill. Okay, I'm just going to spray some water on the butcher paper to make it easier to wrap. Okay. All right. Can't get this wrapped up. Get it wrapped up nice and tight. Perfect. All right, set that back in there. Get the probe back in. Ooh, that probe's a little on the warm side. All right, yeah, this thing's stalled out at 162. We're going to get that back in, let it roll till it hits nice and tender, probably 190 to 200. See you in a sec. All right, total time right now is 8.5 hours. We are temping out at 199.4 according to the Lone Star Grillz temp probe. Let's see if I can. Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Okay, it's nice and tender. I'm going to take this out and let it rest for a few minutes before we cut it into burnt ends, and then we'll get it back out here with the sloppy joe sauce in it. I know, crazy, right? That's what I do. All right, I'll be back in a second. I'll show you, we'll be in the house, I'll show you the sauce that I make for this. First thing I'm going to do is get the sauce, the Sloppy Joe sauce put together. Got an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Half a cup of ketchup. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And then salt and pepper to your taste. I like lots of pepper. And a dash of salt. Okay, mix that together. Almost forgot. I need a teaspoon of yellow mustard. Okay, now let's get that brisket cut up. All right, this brisket's been sitting a little while. Cooled off enough to touch. See how it looks. All right, let's cut it up. Look at that. How about that smoke ring right there, huh? All right, we're going to separate that part right there. Okay, we're just going to make a couple of Sloppy Joe sandwiches, so I'm going to have to save some of this for some other meals. I'm not making these for a bunch of people, so this will be plenty. All right, now I want to get this into my Sloppy Joe sauce right here. Make sure we get it all in there. Okay, get everything nice and coated. We're going to put it back on the pellet grill. We're going to put this out there for probably 45 minutes. I'll check it in 45 minutes and see how it's doing. Okay, I'll see you out there. Right. 265. And we'll just let it ride. It'll get nice and tender. I don't know what I was thinking. I need to put some foil on here, and I do need to turn it up to 275. It's burnt in. It's not like the normal stuff that I do with all my other sauces. Red chili. All right, I'm gonna crank this up to 275 from 265. I'll be back in about 45. All right, let's see how it's doing. Pull that out. Oh yeah, looks pretty good, looks pretty good. Get you in there a little more. All right, let's see how we're doing here. This part pretty good. The fat, it's a fatty one. Not too bad, I might need to go a little bit longer. Pretty soft. Mix it up. I think I'm gonna let it go for another 30. Got a late start today. It's getting dark, but yeah. Just gonna let it go a little bit more, and then we're gonna call it. I'm thinking another 30 minutes or so. Alright, here we are. This brisket is shredding, falling apart. You want to have shredded, you want to have chunks. You just want it to be nice and sloppy. Okay, get this all mixed together. Look at that. Just nice and tender. Get the juice all in there. All right, so now what do we want to do now? Of course, we want to build us a Sloppy Joe, a burnt in a brisket burnt in sloppy Joe sandwich. I've got a fresh hamburger bun, not ballpark, fresh from the bakery today. You're gonna just go ahead and pile that on. You can have it chunky. Get some of those brisket chunks on there. Pile it high. All right. Look at that. Brisket burnt in sloppy Joe. Let's get a taste of this. All right. Well, you know what? I underestimated the daylight hours. It's getting darker quicker. You can see the sun setting back there. There it is again. That's a brisket burnt in sloppy Joe. Let me just take a taste, and then I'll judge the sloppy Joe. It's a sloppy Joe sauce that I don't normally put tomato sauce. So anyway, let's give this a bite. It's going to be sloppy. Okay, all right. That sloppy Joe sauce recipe, I don't normally put tomato sauce in it, but that was pretty darn good. That is really good. And it's really sloppy. It's really messy. So, if you're looking for something else to do with your brisket, make some burnt ends and then turn it into some sloppy Joes. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. This is mighty tasty. Tons of flavor. And I just did a simple sloppy Joe sauce. If you've got your favorite sloppy Joe sauce, I mean, some people like green bell peppers in them and stuff. I almost put green chilies in it, but I backed out. So anyway, make it your way as far as your sloppy Joe sauce, whatever you like. But use brisket burnt ends to make your next sloppy Joe. Thanks for checking this out. Hope you have a great day.